a couple more people trickle in here. My name is Heather Grover. I am the board president of the Tangletown Neighborhood Association, and I co-chair our environmental committee along with Carrie Diem. We're super happy to have Jenny Kedward here to present on reducing wasted food. We are engaged with Kingfield, Lindale, and then, of course, our neighborhood association and environmental committees in a Hennepin County Green Partners grant. And this is part of that grant. So the goal, as you can read, is to provide residents with accessible tools and information to reduce wasted food, to make some more environmentally responsible choices so that we're all benefiting. Connecting neighbors with waste prevention strategies because they're not always out there in the open. Organics, recycling resources, and opportunities for collective action that we can all do together. We're supporting our residents and shaping more sustainable, connected neighborhoods. A couple of things that we have coming up on reducing wasted food. Learning about Minneapolis's organics recycling drop-off program is going to be Saturday, April 18th from 10 to 11:30 at Martin Luther King Jr. Park, right on Nicollet in the Kingfield neighborhood. It's a community recycling ambassador will be tabling near the park organics bins, helping residents learn how to recycle that food waste through the city's organics recycling drop-off program. And that's kind of for those people who don't have the ability to sign up for the compost bin at their own homes. So a lot of renters. Plate to Garden Compost Distribution Fundraiser is going to be Saturday, May 16th from 9 a.m. to noon at the Creekside UCC parking lot. It was formerly known as Mayflower Church, right on Diamond Lake Road and the freeway. You can learn about that at our website, tangletown.org/neighborhood day. It's really pretty cool to see where the compost goes and the end result of it. So if you want to come shovel up some compost for your gardening needs, it's pretty fantastic. We just ask for a suggested donation of $3 per 20 pounds. Bringing your own container. A lot of times people bring the buckets from Menards or Home Depot, or we do a $5 per bag, which we pre-bag in compostable sacks. There's going to be a limited number of pre-bagged compost already available at the Kingfield Tool Swap at MLK Park. And then the Stop Food Waste Challenge will be October 1st through the 31st online to start off the Food Waste Month. Food Waste Information Month. Okay. And Jenny, you are the Hennepin County Food Waste Prevention Specialist, and I will have you kick that off. That's a fantastic picture of you.
Thank you so much. I did not know they were going to take pictures or when it came to post that date. So fun times. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for spending your evening with me. We're going to have an exciting presentation. It'll be under an hour, and I am so happy you filled out a registration so that I could look at all of your questions and some of your headaches and barriers. And I'm hoping I should get to all of them. I will give you a heads up that my job is all about it's everything before composting. So I'm going to be concentrating on how to use up our food. But at the end, if you would like to talk about composting or organics recycling, I can stay on for a little bit. I know there's a question about indoor composting. We can talk about worm composting, but I won't be focusing on that in the presentation. It's all part of the picture, but this tonight we're going to be focusing on this. So let me share my screen. And okay, first share. I've learned you can't really talk and share at the same time. So here we go. Okay, you should be seeing my screen. And I'll have help monitoring the chat, but I'm a very casual presenter, so you can always come off mute, interrupt me. I'm totally fine with that. Pretend we're in a room together. I'm just happy to be here with you. Like I said, my name is Jenny Kedward. My pronouns are she, her. I am your food waste prevention specialist. So I love my job. I get to talk about food all day, how to use it, not waste it, and I learn all the time. I've been, I like to say, talking trash professionally for 20 years now, from recycling, waste prevention, composting, from residents, schools, businesses. So I can answer a lot of questions, but my passion is preventing wasted food. Now, you might hear a phrase that sounds kind of odd to your ear. I like to say wasted food, or surplus food or excess food. When we say food waste, often people, or often we jump to the noun of that phrase, which if you go back to your high school, elementary school English class, the noun of food waste is waste, and we're just describing what kind of waste it is. And when we do that, that means the whole conversation is about how to dispose of it and which way to go, organics, composting, whatever. I want to talk about the food though. I want to not waste the food. So I like to flip it and make the focus of the conversation the food. So wasted food is what I say. Okay, our journey tonight will take us into a light, kind of sped through, like, what is the issue? Why are we here? I don't want to spend as much time on that because I want to get into the real fun part of really the solution to the wasted food problem. And that's why you're all here too. And then, so we're going to talk about eating what you buy, buying what you're going to eat, and some kitchen hacks and answering your questions too. So let's begin. Okay. I should have warned you. So get your fingers ready. I do have a few questions that I'd like you to answer. So find your chat, and I want you to help me fill in this blank. Nearly blank percentage of all food in the U.S. goes uneaten each year. And I'll bring up my chat so I can see too. All right, 40, 40, 1/3, 40, 30. That's pretty good. 40. All right, you're a smart bunch. Oh, it was probably, I think it was in the job or the description, right? I think we put it in the event description. Good job reading, people. So, yes, we have 40%. 40% of all the food that we have in this country goes uneaten, which is devastating. You might also hear a different number called a 30% or a third. That is globally. So it's not a wrong number. It's just looking at the whole globe. And so that is, we waste differently in the US than food is wasted in South Africa or China. But in the US, we waste 40% of all of our food. So when I tell people this, oh, here, I want to show you this too. In case, because percentages mean nothing to most people, here's a visual for you. Um, the Twin Stadium, so Target Field. Imagine that huge, beautiful stadium. We throw enough food away in just our county, enough edible food to fill that Target Field 1.5 times in a year, which is substantial. That's a lot. So oftentimes when I start talking about this conversation, people automatically jump to Jenny, Jenny, Jenny. I don't waste any food. I compost everything. We throw nothing out. And I love that. I compost too. There are things that I can't eat, right? I don't eat eggshells. I don't eat banana peels. We're going to need compost to reduce our waste. I love that. But when we actually start looking at the food and its whole cycle of getting to our plates, even if we composted everything we could, we're still wasting 20% of the land used to grow our food. We're wasting 20% of all of our fresh water to grow food we throw away. So yes, composting is amazing. I urge you to compost everything you can, but not eating the food that was meant to be eaten is wasting all of these resources. And I grew up in the West in Colorado, where every drop of water is owned by somebody. So wasting our precious fresh water, oh, it's devastating. So we definitely don't want to do that. Now, not all food is created equal either. So I like to point this out too. So it takes a lot of, this is just one of the resources that create our food, right? So we could go down different avenues. We could look at carbon emissions, fertilizer, labor, land use. We could look at all of those and uh, what goes into creating our food. Water is just a very tangible, relatable resource to us. So this is a great visual that we created for a display a few years ago. And each one of these little like pictures is a 5 gallon water container, like from a Culligan water dispenser, because this image was next to one of those. So this gives you an idea of like if we wasted one tomato, we've just wasted 13 gallons of water. Or if we, so that's bad, but look how much went into creating our beef or an egg or other dairy products like the cheese. So, and that is because it's not like we're, soaking our cows in water. It's because, of course, all of the grain that was grown to feed our animals to
Wow.
then produce the beef, the meat, the dairy. So I'm not saying, vegetarian, vegan, omnivore, whatever. It's more of keeping in mind if you're going to waste food, try really hard not to waste beef or cheese or things that were really resource intensive. Okay, so devastating, right? That we're wasting all that to because it's harming our planet and using a lot of resources. But of course, then we look at the social side. 1 in 5 people are food insecure in the state. And many of them are children. And that doesn't mean they're necessarily starving. It means that they don't know where the next meal is coming from. So that insecurity. So somehow we're wasting 40% of all of our food, yet we have all of these people that don't know where their food's coming from. So this is often a logistical issue in the hunger space, which we are working in as well. What we're going to talk about, though, is using our food at home right now. So the next thing people ask me or tell me is, Jenny, you have to go talk to all of those restaurants, my my kids' school's cafeteria, the grocery store. They're all wasting so much food. So I'm going to touch very lightly in different presentations. I go even deeper into each segment of our food system and who is wasting how much. But tonight, I'm just going to do very lightly of who is wasting all this food? Well, we have study after study. I've looked at a dozen studies that do similar analysis of who is wasting what. And all of them, even though they might be different percentages or exact weights, all of them have residents, you and me, consumers, as the number one waster. And I want that to sink in of because we don't feel like we're wasting, right? You're here, you're in this presentation, you don't want to waste food. I've been doing this for, just food outreach for over a decade. I know I've never met anyone that wants to waste food. So how is this happening? And we're going to talk about some of the reasons for that too. But I like this visual because the system right now is linear from the farm to our homes is a line, a food chain, right? And we're the end of the line. If we're not eating it, what would happen? So that's kind of the reason the whole system is created to feed us. So that means that, yeah, if we don't eat it, that's it. Okay, so that's who's wasting food. And if you want more information about any of that data, you can go look to one of our leaders in the industry, which is Refed. They have an amazing interactive database that you can actually get more information, and we'll drop a link in the chat too for that. Okay, so where does our food go? I've done this presentation so many times, and I had to start adding this slide in because I realized people don't know where their food goes when they throw it away. So right now, if you throw your food in the trash in Minneapolis or Hennepin County, it's either going to the HERC, which is the Hennepin Energy Resource Facility. So it's getting burned. Well, guess what doesn't burn very well? Food. It's very wet. If you've ever tried to light, wet food or wet logs on fire, doesn't work very well. We don't want it there. If it's going to a landfill, which I used to work for the county, Dakota County, for 10 years, where that's they have the two landfills that take all of the trash, the household trash, if it doesn't go to the HERC, it goes there. If our food is going to the landfill, it is decomposing in an environment without oxygen. We call that anaerobic. and it is producing methane. Basically, the bugs that are decomposing our food in the landfill are farting out methane. That's just the natural way it happens. And landfills are one of the number one sources of methane in our greenhouse gas emissions in the US. So we don't want it there either. So, the other alternative for disposal, of course, is composting. And I'm so glad you're going to have an organics recycling talk coming up. Backyard composting is great. All of those things are wonderful. If that happens, we get amazing compost, which is a soil amendment to reuse to grow our food. Hooray! That's what we want to happen. So that's where it's going now. Where do we want it to go? So this is the EPA hierarchy of where we want our food to go, or the use of our food um, based on environmental impacts. So number one, by far, the thing we should do is what we're going to talk about tonight, preventing that wasted food. If we can't do that, then we should get it to someone who could eat it. So donating food, giving away food, sharing food. Upcycling is just a term where it's like value added food, like making jam out of your strawberries, that kind of thing. If we can't feed people, we should feed animals, which is the next step. And then step four is when we start talking about composting. So just keeping that in mind of all of these things can happen before we even talk about composting and organics recycling. And then I'll just highlight the thing that we don't want to do at all is send food down the drain, so your garbage disposal. It's not a method of disposal in Minnesota. In other places, it might be because they have different systems, not in Minnesota. We don't want to send it to a landfill. We don't want to send it to an incinerator. Okay, so that's the bad stuff, right? The reasons why we're here. And not to mention, we just all feel bad, right? We don't want to waste food. So, what is the solution? It is not rocket science. I wish it was sexier than this, but it's prevention. It's just eating the food we have. Like, that is the biggest thing we can do. But somehow it's so hard, right? Like, you're here because you want to learn tricks and hacks because we live in this a society, we live in a culture where it's easy to waste food, right? So we're going to walk through some great tips and solutions, and I'm here for you to explain all those. And what prevention really means is buying the food you'll eat and eating the food you'll buy. Or sorry, buy the food you'll eat and eat the food you have or buy. So what is that? Okay. So the reasons there are studies after studies. We've done our own studies in Hennepin County and in the region. Looked at so many national studies, international studies. They all say the same thing. What we're doing is our brain is on automatic. We don't have any planning that we're doing. We're busy, hence the no planning, and we just want something convenient. And no one's really taught us how to store our stuff, right? You always kind of did what your parents did, and they did what they did, or their parents did. And it's been a pretty, like in the last 100 years, we've gone from like ice boxes, or nothing to now smart fridges. So no one's really paused and said, like, oh yeah, where do you put this apple to make it last the longest? So we're going to talk about that tonight too. Okay, so a campaign that we have for Hennepin County is called Trash or Cash. It's a wonderful campaign that's really more lighthearted. We don't need the guilt. We don't need extra like feeling bad about wasting food. We already have that embedded into our culture. What we need is solutions. So this is all about solutions, and the theme is like a game show where everyone's on a game show, and either you can choose trash, so like we wasted our food, or cash because we didn't waste our food. So that's the theme. We know the biggest motivator for not wasting food that people tell us is money, especially right now, right? Like food is expensive. When you throw food away, you should see dollar bills. Like it costs money. So we're trying to connect those dots of, yeah, you are wasting money. So here's a way to save money. So a lot of the tools I'm going to talk about are on this web page. And so you can see at the top here, we're going to talk about a lot of these tools and why we have them. The biggest thing that you can do, and I'll tell you, it's the one thing that no one really wants to do, but it will be the biggest, most impactful thing that you can do in your home is figuring out why your household is wasting food. So I have offered many times to come live with people for 4 weeks and judge what they're doing in their kitchen. For some reason, no one's taken me up on that. Yeah, right. No one wants someone judging what they're doing, right? Well, guess what? You can do that yourself. You don't need me. So, you actually, we have this worksheet that it's called the Fridge Check Guide. And all it is the next time that you clean out your fridge, like you went grocery shopping and you know that whole thing of like, oh, I gotta make room in the fridge, and you do a fridge clean out. You can even time it like, okay, it's been 4 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever. Um, put everything on the counter. You're probably already doing that anyways. And you fill this out. You're just saying like, what did I take out? What didn't I eat? And then this is the most important part of this is this chart right here. It's reasons why the food went bad. So it did not just magically go bad in your fridge. There was a reason that it didn't get eaten. Did you forget about it? Did you buy it without a plan? It didn't taste good, so you didn't eat the leftovers. Um, it spoiled more quickly than you thought. Whatever it might be, there once you know the problem or the reason, the solution appears naturally. That's on the right hand side of this table here too. So we're going to talk about a lot of these, and because these are the main reasons people don't eat their food. We know this. You're not alone. I do this for a living, and I still had to throw out something this week. So you're not alone, but it's improvement over perfection, right? We all get a little better over time. Okay, so let's dive into the fun resources of buying what you'll eat. What that means is planning and shopping. So this is what most people hate, right? I saw that in your comments too of I just hate grocery shopping. I don't want to plan. I'm overwhelmed. I'm busy. Yep, I hear ya. But guess what? We live in 2026. You have so many tools at your disposal. What I first want you to do is reframe meal planning. So, meal planning sounds cumbersome. It's a chore. No one wants to do it. So, change it into something that you look forward to. Like, it's a celebration of eating, it's taking back control, it's a gift to the future you on Thursday when you're going to be stressed out because you don't know what's for dinner. Not planning, so not doing this, we know, and this has been updated in the last few years, we know that every household in the US, an average household of four, wastes $3,000 every year on food they throw away. And that's like minimum, right? So that's a lot. That's a paycheck, couple paychecks, and that's money you could spend elsewhere, right? So my favorite one here is taking back control. I would rather spend 15 minutes on a Sunday going through my recipes and like doing my meal planning than having the talk every day with my husband of what's for dinner. So really prioritizing the value of it instead of the dread of it. And I do teach meal planning classes as well. So we can definitely, that can be something else we can come back to and make our own little meal plans. But what I've learned over the years is shocking, not everyone is the same as me. So how I meal plan and what works for me might not work for you because we're all a little different. Even on my own work team, as we're putting together these resources and I share like what I do and a coworker will be like, oh no, I don't do that. That doesn't work for me. So that's okay. So what I would encourage you to do is take the meal planning personality quiz. We're going to drop it in the chat, or you can scan it with your phone. And it is a quick little, I think there's 8 or 9 questions, and then it will show you what kind of meal planner you are. Are you a flexible planner? Are you a spontaneous planner, which I know is an oxymoron, but all of them have superpowers. You have strengths of what you bring to the table, but then we all have things that we need to work on. So I'm not going to spoil all of those for you. You need to take it to figure it out. But I'm going to walk you through some of my favorites to keep in mind that work for everybody. So, number one, if you hate meal planning, especially, or you're really busy, but you at least tend to cook. So this isn't for someone who is ordering out all the time, or like that's just not how you do things. You don't cook. That's okay. This is for people who are okay with cooking at home. Have a favorites list of meals. And this might start small with 5 of your go-tos, but as you start realizing what your favorites are, it'll grow. So like over time now I think we have about 40 favorites on our favorites list, 40 recipes on our favorites list. And the list is literally like It started out as just a piece of paper and then it went to like a Google Notes and then now it's in an app, and we'll talk about apps in a second. But now when we sit down to meal plan, we look at our schedule and say, oh, we have out of this whole 7 days, first of all, also never plan all 7 days unless you are type A, you can get it all done. The sweet spot is 3 to 4 meals. 3 to 4 meals a week for dinners. Focus on that. Look at your schedule, pick out what days you're going to need to cook. Maybe it's only 3 meals this week. Go to your favorites list, pick all three from your favorites list, or pick two and then add in a recipe you've been wanting to try. That's it. So I could do a whole hour on meal planning, but again, I'm just going to keep it light. Choose one app to rule them all. So choose an app that works for you, and I'm going to share some apps that I personally like in a few slides later. But choose an app, something that works for you. You might have to try a few to find the right one. Always have a night of flexibility. You can call it a leftovers night. You can call it an eat it up night. That's what we have at our house. Buffet night, free meal night, whatever you need to eat up what's in your fridge. Make it exciting. And then if you're someone who is really busy or who doesn't really like to cook, I would stay away from fresh as much and fresh produce and opt more for frozen or canned. There is nothing wrong with frozen or canned. I've read studies that show the nutritional value. It's the same nutritional value, but the trick is it's not going to go bad because it's been already preserved, and you can use the quantity you need. So reach for those staples. There is nothing wrong with that. Okay. Some shopping tips then. So you have your list that you made because you spent that 15 minutes figuring it out. Great. Stick to your list. You might be one of the planners that does not do a list and you go to the grocery store and you go with your gut. Fine. I am not like you, but I respect game sees game. So you have your strength is improvisation, and that's great. So as long as you eat that food, keep doing it. What I will say though is, depending on where you're shopping, this is a little harder at Aldi versus, the Co-op or Cub. Choose loose. So the picture of the potatoes here. Choose loose potatoes. If your recipes or your list only need 3 potatoes, don't buy a bag of potatoes unless, I mean, I married an Irish guy, so yeah, we have a lot of potatoes. So we could probably get through that bag pretty easily. But if you don't have a plan to get through those potatoes in the next few weeks, just don't buy all of them. It's okay. Because if you wasted half the bag, then it really wasn't a deal. You're not saving by buying in bulk if you're not going to use it. Buy loose. The trick too in the grocery store is anything sold by the pound, you can take more or less of, even if it's combined. Grapes in the bag of grapes, they're sold by the pound. I take excess grapes out and put them in another bag. You can do that. It's okay. It's allowed. You're not going to get in trouble. Even a melon or a cabbage, I know I'm not going to get through all of that. I walk it over to the deli. They'll cut it for me and wrap it in plastic on both ends. They'll put one half back out in the produce area, and then I get the other half. So you only need half. If you don't think you're going to use all that cabbage, which for me is really hard, don't buy the whole cabbage. So things like that. If it's sold by the pound, you can take less. Online ordering. So I did see a few people that just hate going to the grocery store. Maybe it's overwhelming, it's overstimulating, blah, I get it. Online ordering is a really great tool to buy only what you need. You're not tempted by deals or like the marketing. You're in and out. You can even have it, delivered to your car. And as you're putting things into your cart, you're seeing the money and you're seeing, oh, I guess I don't really need that amount. I'll go less. So you're seeing it's the reverse of shopping. You get to see the amount instead of at the end, you're seeing it at the beginning. So that's great. There's nothing wrong with online shopping. And then if you can, opt for food in the produce area, especially that's grown locally. So anything labeled Minnesota made, Minnesota grown, that means that it didn't spend half its life on a truck. It got here very quickly, and that adds days to how long it'll last in your kitchen. Pat asks, where do I shop? I do a mix. So we're a two-person household. Um, once a quarter or so, I'll go to the co-op to fill up on my bulk goods. But our go-tos are Aldi, especially right now because they have the cheap products and organic for a really good amount. And then probably every 3 months we go to Costco for like shelf stable things, canned foods, pasta, things like that. So I do a mix depending on what we're buying. But Aldi and Cub are kind of our go-to weekly things if we need to go shopping. And feel free to tell me where you shop too. Okay, food dates here. Okay, get your fingers ready again. I have a quiz for you here. Food date labels. All food date labels are made up by the manufacturer and not related to safety at all, except one food item. Can you guess what food item that is? Put it in the chat. Looking at the chat, not seeing anything yet. Honey, baby formula, meat. I know you're thinking. I'll wait for one more. Edge of my seat, dairy, milk, dairy. I was waiting for dairy to come up. Thank you. Um, Baby formula, yes. Let's see who's right. Ah, it's baby formula. So every other date except baby formula has like the government is not involved. There is no one checking for quality or safety. All of those dates are made up by the manufacturer loosely based on quality. And a lot of that is like a focus group said it didn't taste as good after this date. That's it. That's all it's based on. Baby formula is the only exception because it actually has a nutritional value for developing babies, developing little humans. So everything else. So take that with a grain of salt. Date labels are just thanks for showing me when it was made. That's it. So what did we do before? It was around the 80s that date labels became a thing that manufacturers had to put on their products. What did we do before? We used our senses. So your God-given senses are pretty good. We've evolved to kind of feel know when something's not good for us. And really anything, the thing that causes illness, I used to work at a health department for 6 years. The thing that causes illness, like E. coli, salmonella, is not from a bruised apple or a shriveled pepper. It's from cross-contamination from meats and vegetables, cutting on the counter cutting board. It's from E. coli often is in our produce based on what water was used for growing the produce. So this isn't going to harm you like what you hear about for food safety. So taste it, smell it, look at it. If you're questionable or you're not sure, there is a great website too called Eat or Toss, which I did not put the link in. Eat or Toss. And they actually go through some of those weird anomalies, like why does my pepper have this weird bump? They'll have a scientific reason for it and if it's safe to eat. I love that website. Okay, moving right along. We are in 20 minutes. We have so many tips to cover. Oh, thank you, Andrea, for Eat or Toss. It's so fun. Okay, meal planning. I love asking what other people do because I love learning that. I personally use this middle one here, this app and website called Food by Samsung. It used to be called Whisk and it got bought out by Samsung. Many people I talk to love paprika. Some people just love Pinterest. I will tell you for food and paprika and a few others, the great thing about these is you can store recipes from anywhere on the web. You can adjust the recipe portions, so you can up it, lower it, and it has great swap information, like for food by Samsung. If I have a recipe and I don't have one item that it says I need, I'll click on it and it'll suggest other replacements. So I love that because I love swaps. Also, the best part of these apps are that you can tell it to add things to your grocery list. And so then you have a shopping list right there in the app, and it sorts it by aisle. So then you're not, going back and forth the grocery store forgetting things. I love it. So please tell me, I'm looking at the chat, if you use a different kind of app, um, Oh, Heather uses Instant Cart. Great. Yep. New York Times cooking app. I've heard a lot of people use that. That one's not free. These other ones are free, but also love their recipes. I love it. And start asking your friends, what do you use? What are you doing? And like I said, not everyone will love this one app. That's why I can't recommend like this one to rule them all. Emails, great, love it. Love this. See? Food wishes. Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Laura in the kitchen, great. See, I love it. I always learn about a new app. Okay, now we've bought the food we know we're going to eat. So now what? What do we do with it? We need to cook it, eat it, store it. So let's talk about that. The biggest reason people tell me, and research shows this too, of why people don't eat their food is they forgot to eat it. Whether it be leftovers or produce that they didn't cut up yet, people forget. We're busy, right? So I'm gonna give you a few. We're gonna go. I'm gonna hit on two tools that really help this. The first one is Fridge Check Friday. This is an email, and we're gonna put it in the chat too. You sign up. You can get a text or by email. You sign up. You get every Friday morning. So tomorrow is one. So if you sign up right now, you might get it. It flashes up of like, check your fridge. Here's your weekly reminder to go check your fridge and make a plan. And then it gives you a fun tip. I think tomorrow is a few kitchen hacks, but it's like how to store your cilantro, what to do with berries past their prime. Really fun little hacks every week. And I don't care if Friday is your day for checking your fridge. It's more to get you in the mode of weekly checks and to remind yourself to plan on using up the food in your fridge. So that's all it is, reminders. And if you don't want this, if you don't want another email, I get it. Put it on your calendar. Put it on your Google Calendar, your iCalendar, whatever you use. Choose a date and have it as a reminder of like, hey, check the fridge. And it will really help, I promise. Some waste-free cooking tips. So one, be your own cooking assistant, kitchen assistant. So that means if I'm cutting up half an onion to use for a recipe, cut up the rest of the onion and put it in the fridge. So now the next time I have to go, I hate cutting onions, so this is a benefit for me. Next time I need diced onions, it is ready to go. I am so thankful for past Jenny who cut that onion. So things like that, whatever will help you prep during cooking. This also goes into if you know you're not going to have time to prep something, buy it's okay to go to the produce section and buy the chopped melon or garlic or whatever. If that's going to help you cook more and use up your other food, it's okay. You don't have to feel guilty about that. There's nothing wrong with someone else doing some of the prep for you. Adjust portion sizes. This was in a lot of your comments too, of like, I'm just one person, I'm just two people. Yeah, I get it. We're just two people. And especially if someone doesn't like leftovers, which I'm so grateful that my husband and I, we both love leftovers. But if you have kids that don't like it or your spouse doesn't like it, adjusting the portion size, make sure you don't have leftovers then. So that's where there is going to be a link in the chat of there's a great recipe converter where you can scale up or scale down any recipe and it does the math for you. You can of course do math for yourself, but sometimes we're just too tired and don't want to do it. So I love the recipe converter. I've definitely used it, especially if I'm going to a party, I want to scale it up. So adjust your portion sizes. It works for most things. Swaps. We kind of talked about swaps before. There's basically a swap for anything. So if you don't have one ingredient, especially that spice or the thing that you're going to use once, there's usually a pretty good alternative for it. If you don't use the swap, if you don't have an app that does the swaps for you, just Google whatever you're swapping, like kale substitute. My Google is so used to me looking up substitutes, it's just like the first thing that comes up now. So any substitutes, it's great. I'm always surprised too, like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Oh yeah, Kelly said, ask your neighbor for that one ingredient. Yes, it's a great neighborhood building activity. I definitely have done that before. Okay, using all of the veggie, fruit, animal, we are very odd in this country, unlike many other cultures in the world where we don't use all of something. Like we're so used to like the chicken breast, but we don't eat, chicken feet or like it's just our culture, right? We don't use all of an animal. So I challenge you to use a part of at least for veggies, if that's more comfortable for you, veggies or fruit, that you wouldn't normally. So in our household, well, I didn't grow up eating broccoli stems. My mom always just threw them away. But as I was an adult and I started experimenting with food, I started using the broccoli stems along with the broccoli, and it's great. So try to challenge yourself and your family of like trying to eat some of the food that you might have thrown away. Okay, so now we're going to get into the fun storage hacks. This is always the fun part. Okay, first of all, know your fridge. Fridges are crazy. I could spend an hour talking about the insane sizes of fridges. I live in a smaller home. I think many of you might too because you're in South Minneapolis. But you know, suburban fridges and more floor space gives you more opportunity for larger fridges. They are ridiculously large. You do not need all that food. If anyone's ever gone to Europe and you're shocked by how small their fridges are, it's because they buy food more often and don't keep large amounts of food on hand. In America, we just like to pack it in. What that does, though, is same thing with like going grocery shopping, and the reason why carts are so big is it triggers our scarcity feeling, and we have to fill it. If you do feel like you feel lost without a packed fridge, I would encourage you to put bottles of water, like, you know, a jug of water in the back or something to make it look um, busier, like something that moves the food forward as well. You don't need food in every space of your fridge. And often that's what happens is we push things to the back and we forget about it. So I'm going to tell you the two things about the fridge that you should know. One, the door is the warmest part of your fridge. Do not put anything that will go bad quicker, like your dairy or your eggs. I don't know why the like refrigerator manufacturers always show pictures and like want you to put the milk in the door. It's so weird. Like I grew up that way. I'm sure you did too. That's the warmest part of the fridge because it opens up to warm or room temperature air the most. So if you're going through like a gallon of milk a day or a few days, don't worry about it. But if you need that milk or those eggs to last longer, put them in the inside of your fridge. The middle part is like the most consistent coldest part of your fridge. So and then the other thing is keeping your fridge at 38 to 40 degrees. I actually bought, because I have an older fridge, I'm kind of waiting for it to die so I can get a nicer fridge. But I have an older fridge with the like 1 through 5 numbers that I have no idea what 5 versus 1 is. Um, so I bought a fridge thermometer at Cub Foods and I keep that and I occasionally look at it to make sure I'm in the good zone. Okay, we're going to skip through the storage guide. So this is also on the Trash or Cash website. My favorites, this is a cheat sheet, but if you want details of everything you could store, we're gonna drop 2 links in the chat. One is the Food Keeper website and app, which has hundreds of items you can browse or search. And then Save the Food, which I like their kind of clustering of things, and they give you also ways to use up things too. So I can never decide which one to share, so I'll share both. So some of my favorites though, storing herbs. Someone had mentioned basil in the questions. Storing herbs like cut flowers. So putting them in a jar of water, and either for basil or warm herbs, basil basically, you can put on the counter. Everything else could go on the. I put everything on the counter because I think it looks pretty, and I'll remember to eat it. I didn't bring it in. I have green onions that are 3 weeks old, but they've been in the. I keep using them because I cut off the top and then they keep growing. Another one, bananas, I call the bullies of the produce world. You need to separate them from all the other produce because they give off more of a gas called ethylene, which makes other food ripen. That's bad if you don't want your other food to ripen faster. It might be good if you do. So, for instance, an avocado, you can put a banana and an avocado in a paper bag, and then overnight the avocado will be ripe. I love it. I've definitely used that trick. The other one is while potatoes and onions and garlic both love cool, dark spaces like a pantry or cupboard, they make each other sprout. So they can be in the same drawer or area, but just don't mingle them, like separate them. Okay. Okay, I just want to do one of the big things that people ask me are like carrots and celery. Oh, there we go. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's okay if you can't. Right. So this works. Celery, carrots, and lettuce you can put in an ice water bath, and for about 15-30 minutes, and it will crisp back up. Why it's limp is dehydration. So the water kind of adds more hydration to it. Even better for you can already cut carrots and celery and put them in jars and fill it with water and just store them like that. So then you don't even have to think about it. There's a nice little jar of cilantro or yeah, cilantro parsley. I always get those mixed up. I have to smell it. And then for lettuce, this came up several times in the comments. How do you store lettuce without it getting slimy and gross? First, if you don't have like lettuce is only supposed to last about a week. So if you do not have a plan for eating that lettuce, buy a smaller amount or like give some to a friend or neighbor. But if you like have the right amount and you have a plan for it, the best way is putting in a container that can breathe a bit and putting a either damp or dry works too. I usually dampen it a little bit, a paper towel into the container. You want your lettuce to be damp but not wet, so it's that fine line between the two. But it will last longer. I also now I use a produce bag, which is it's a lettuce bag. I bought at Terra Market and you get it all wet, which seems so weird. It's a cloth bag, and you put your lettuce or spinach or whatever in there, and it will actually last. I think I had it for 2 or 3 weeks, going through it, like my spinach, and it lasted. It's pretty amazing. Okay, kitchen inventory. A lot of people, or I know one commenter said, what about my freezer?" So this is actually my freezer right here up top. This is like we were really bad in my household of remembering what was in the freezer. Everything looks the same, right? So you don't want to stand there, especially in winter. It's cold, you're wasting energy. This is what works for my household to track what we have in the freezer. And we have a freezer in the garage as well for extras. So I also put that on here. So I automatically can look and be like, oh, yep, we got it. Or nope, we're out of that. I need to go to the store. So this works for us. I've also seen people use magnets, which is great for like kids too. And it's just a fun little visual of what's in the fridge or what you need to buy. Also, just having a list on the fridge of like, here's specific items I need to use up and having a plan really helps. I thought I'm going to skip down to this because a lot of people had questions about this part. So, freezing. The tricks to freezing, and I'm going to talk about freezer burn in a second. Freezing in portions. I have learned this the hard way when I was first doing this. Freeze in portions that you're going to eat later. If you don't and you put all your soup in one big bag and you only needed half of it, guess what you're doing? You're thawing the whole bag just for that one half, and refreezing kind of takes some of the texture out of it. Leave room for liquids, especially if you're storing in a glass container or a rigid container. And then label everything because it all looks the same. Even if you really believe in yourself that you're going to remember, label it and then put it on your little inventory sheet. Vegetables, if you need to put vegetables in, like fruit is really easy. Leftovers are really easy to freeze. What is a little tricky is vegetables because um, veggies need to be blanched to kind of lock in the nutrients and crispness. But blanching is really easy. It's literally like 30 seconds in hot boiling water and then a quick soak in ice water, and then you've blanched it. It's the worst sounding name for something that's very easy. So let's talk about freezer burn, right? So this video will tell you my number one suggestion for freezer burn. Really, freezer burn, it's not unsafe to eat. It just tastes kind of gross. It ruins the taste. There's nothing bad about it. It's really dehydration and oxidation. That's really it. Vacuum seal, and this doesn't mean that you have to have a vacuum sealer. This is my trick. I don't have a vacuum sealer, but here is you. have this, you put a straw in it, you suck the air out, and you've just vacuum sealed. Ha ha. This also works by, I haven't done this one, but people have told me, um, putting the bag in water and then the water pushes all the air out and you can vacuum seal that way too. So there you go. One of the best ways because you really need to get the air not touching your food. That's your whole purpose in freezing. So vacuum seal gets the air away. Freezing flat helps the food, especially for liquids, helps the food like spread out more. So then the air goes away or gets out of the bag or container. Wrapping things tightly with freezer, like foil, really freezer paper is the best thing. And even if you have a container that has like a bit of air in between the food and the lid, putting something blocking the air, like putting a foil or freezer paper on top, like making a barrier on top of the food, and then it can kind of freeze together. That will keep out the air, so that helps too. The biggest thing is using it up, like using the food you put in the freezer, because freezer burn, like you're more likely to have freezer burn the longer it's in the freezer. So remembering to use it is a big one. Okay, I skipped this one, but I want to go back. This is one of my number one tools that you can use. And it's on our website, but you don't need a fancy sign to print out. You can always just make your own. The picture on the right is literally the basket that's in my fridge right now. The trick is one, you forget your food, right? You forget to eat it. Two, our fridges are so deep that food just gets pushed to the back of the fridge and you forget about it. It's like that graveyard back there, right? This making an eat first bin or shelf in your fridge is a communication device for yourself and everyone in your household. It says we need to eat this first, or it's going to go bad. So I got that little cute basket at Goodwill for like $2. I made a little eat first sticker sign to put on, and I use it for things that are like an open can or the half. I think there's an onion in there, the half of an onion, or things that I know I'm going to forget and I need to use up. So this works really well for us. Put it in a place that your eyes immediately look to in the fridge. We all have that one spot. So put it there. I love the eat first bin. Okay, using up your food, and we're almost done. Using up your food. I don't know why I put that twice. Oh, it was to remind me about leftovers. So I talked about leftovers of some people just don't like leftovers, and we talked about portions and uh, making like not having leftovers if you hate them. Same with going out to eat. If you hate leftovers and you know this is going to be a big plate, share with somebody. There is nothing saying you can't do that. Or order something smaller off the app menu or something else if you really don't want leftovers. You can always order more, but you can't order less after you've already had it. So disguising your leftovers to put into other meals. So of course we all know the like putting things in soup or a smoothie or an omelet. Have those kind of like go-to kitchen sink meals ready to go. Ours is chili a lot of the time in the winter, or a soup. I love the omelet trick too, or frittata of like, oh, whatever is in the fridge that needs to use up. That works too. People have told me pizza, like doing their own pizza night, and everything goes on the pizza. So whatever helps you. And you can also search recipes by what you have. So my favorite example for this is um, that I had leftover, I think it was pot roast, and I just did not want to eat it again. But I had, maybe like a cup or two. I found one of now my favorite recipes called Moroccan leftover meat pie. You can put any meat in it, any shredded meat, and so I've done it with chicken, brisket leftover from one of my friends' potlucks, and I actually enjoy when I have leftover meat because then I get to make that pie. So search recipe sites by what you have. Okay, sharing excess. We mentioned to like asking your neighbors for things, but you can also give your neighbors things. So there are wonderful ways to share your food. We're in this golden age of buy nothing or Facebook Marketplace, things like that. In my neighborhood, and maybe Tangletown could do this too. So I'm in St. Paul. We have a St. Paul Food Waste Warriors, and the whole point is like a buy nothing, but for food. So people, I've gotten so many things off there of like, oh, I tasted this, I don't really want it, anyone want it? Or, oh, I actually got like a Blue Apron whole kit because someone was out of town and they needed someone to eat it. So you like it's so fun to like share food around your neighborhood. Other ways to do this too, there's an app called Olio, which is the same thing, but just, getting off Facebook. Olio is a great app to share things. And then Too Good to Go is not sharing neighbor to neighbor. It's where a business has excess and they want to try to make a little money off of it before they throw it away. So download the app, and there's often like bakeries, sushi places that sell at a discount through the app, and then you come pick it up and get like a grab bag of things. Okay, last few slides. So, ways that you can help. I did see this in the comments too of like, how do we just make sure that food doesn't get wasted in our community? What you can do in your backyard right there is help at a food shelf. Almost every food shelf uses some kind of recovered, rescued food from donated from grocery stores and whatnot. Two great ones that I love in your neighborhood, Harvest from the Heart is in Tangletown, and then Joyce Uptown Food Shelf is in Uptown Kingfield. Um, they are both wonderful and they always need volunteers, either sorting food, greeting clients, whatever they need. So if you want to really help, this is one big way. Another way is, and then Twin Cities Food Justice too. So Twin Cities Food Justice actually, they're the in between of like picking up from grocery stores or other donations, farmers markets. Your Kingfield Farmers Market uses Twin Cities Food Justice. And then so you pick up excess food and then get it to someplace like Harvest from the Heart where they can use the food to get it to people. Sign up as a volunteer. It's amazing. I did it for 6 years. I loved it. Then and thank you, Andrea. Andrea dropped the food resource map in it. So in case you're not in the Tangletown area, you can look at that food resource map and see where there's a food shelf near you. And they all need volunteers to help sort food. So definitely sign up. These last three over on the side here on the right-hand side, Community Kitchen, Loaves and Fishes, and Sisters Camelot all use rescued food, recovered food, to make meals for people in need. I volunteered at Community Kitchen in like Marcy Holmes area, and it is awesome to like prep in a kitchen with other people. You're talking, you're prepping, so the next day someone's cooking. Loaves and Fishes does have a meal site in your area. I think it's out Calgary or I'm sorry, Mount Olivet is in your area. And then Sisters Camelot, if you've seen their bus around, especially Powderhorn, they have a kitchen on their old school bus and make food out of leftovers, extras. And then gleaning from farms. So this means that there's the food group actually does this in the summer where they'll take volunteers to farms and the farmer will has excess where they just don't have, it's not worth the labor um, to get the food, to get it to a food pantry. So volunteers do that to harvest excess food. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 8 o'clock. I didn't realize what time it was. Okay. Last thing, we mentioned the Stop Food Waste Challenge coming up. But then I'll just leave you with wasted food. We know it's a huge problem, but we are all the solution and we can all do what we can in our own homes to solve the problem. Here's my contact information, and I, of course, can stick around for any questions you have.